Hi there. This is a quick fly through as fast as I can on Content247, our Content247 platform. So this is a platform designed specifically for brands to work and manage all their creative production across their entire supply chain and to centralize all that production for your internal teams and manage all your briefing, proofing, calibration, and finally asset management. So this is about you being in control of the way you work with your agencies, managing the way that you run and manage briefs, and managing your assets. That's the key thing, is letting you have access, letting all agencies have access to your assets and be able to create stuff on your behalf, but you holding that. And that's the real key to this. So it's about you managing your assets and managing your IP and keeping it safe, being able to move agencies if you want to, but fundamentally about reducing costs. And I'm going to explain how we reduce costs fairly shortly. So it's all cloud-based, it's in Amazon's web services, so it's all secure and all fast. So I'm going to log into my demo site. So this is my demo client, and they're called Fashion Direct. So they're an online fashion retailer. As you can see up here, I can have multiple languages, and I'm in GBP, but I could also be in euros or dollars. Okay, so this is my home page, and I'm logged in as the administrator. So I get to see this extra tab here, but normally most people in the agency, in the marketing department, sorry, wouldn't see that. Okay, so I've got three key tabs. So production, assets, and editor, and I'm going to show you what they do. But firstly, just let me explain the home page and this thing whizzing, this carousel backwards and forwards. So one of the key things about Content247 is about me as a brand being able to share the assets that I'm creating with my fellow stakeholders, whether that be in one office or multiple offices or multiple countries and territories. So this was designed to help brands save money, firstly, by sharing their assets and lowering production costs, and then being able to manage their supply chain and ultimately storing those assets. Okay, so what I'm doing here is this carousel. As you can see, I've got it set up with three simple banners. One is sharing some internal information about a competitor. Again, this is all made up, so please take it with a pinch of salt. Here is, I'm sharing some new display banners that I've had produced, so I can, and they can be multiple assets. And this is one about a launch email that I've had produced. And again, I'm wanting to promote this to my fellow stakeholders within marketing across my offices so that they can see what we're up to. And I'll explain why. Fundamentally, it's about allowing them to procure those assets from the supply chain and reducing cost. And the reason for that is you may be using your above-the-line agency to do a number of high-level creatives and your campaigns, but you should be using a production agency to do all your reversioning, your transcreation, and lowering that cost. And this system allows you to automatically choose that asset and then go and buy it elsewhere. Okay, so just to quickly explain the homepage. This is my notification. My bell up here is my notification. So this is telling me things that people are doing. So this is like Basecamp. So whenever people are doing stuff on something, I get a notification. I get an email as well, but sometimes I may miss the email as it slips down my inbox throughout the day. So this is an indelible place where I can see them up until the point that I can either view that particular job on that thing, or I can dismiss this and file it. Okay, this one here is my sort of shopping cart, and this is where I can prepare multiple briefs at any one time. So I've got a number of different jobs here, and they're on my shopping cart. And basically, what that allows me to do is to be working on that brief there, but I may not want to actually submit it. So these are briefs that I've not submitted yet, so it allows me to work on multiple briefs at any one time before submitting them, and that's really important because I might be missing a number of key information. I might not have the products that I need yet to go to market, but I might actually want to prepare all my week's emails. I might want to prepare my banners for the campaign, etc. So, and finally, as you can imagine, with a light box, with a bulb there, it's my light box for my digital asset management system. So these are things that I've got in my light box that I can use and very easily add to jobs. So I'll start with production. So if I click here, basically I'm presented with a list of the current jobs that I've got going on, and I can view my jobs, or I can view all the company's jobs. And when I'm in a job, I then can go and click on full details, and I'm presented with this navigation here. So again, I'm straight into a timeline. So back into the whole Basecamp thing. This is an indelible place. So literally, you cannot delete this. This is the place where everything is recorded to do with that job. So this is a job that's briefed with the agency. The stuff that my internal team are doing, the stuff that my agency are doing, is all noted in this timeline here, and it gives me an indelible place where I can go back and look at who said what, and that's really important. Okay. I also then have the brief, so I've got a copy of the brief. It's not a particularly good brief because somebody's put here, make it pretty, so I think they're going to get fired. But fundamentally, that allows me to add and drop pictures or web links in and make my briefing really easy. And each brief is unique to the type of job. So again, when we set the system up, we will set all the briefing templates up for how you want to work, and that isn't just about how you work with each type of job, so whether it's a digital job or a piece of print or a DM or whatever. It's about how do you want to work with that agency. Some agencies may pick things up more fluid than others. You may want War and Peace, whereas you might just want a couple of boxes and be able to place an image. So briefing is completely and utterly visual and also dynamic. So this job has got one proof. So my agency, it's got two proofs of one job. So there is version 1. Okay, I can click on there and see that there was one comment which said make it green. It's not particularly helpful. But that is now greyed out. So that means I can no longer work or add anything to that particular proof. So it's version controlled. But I do have version 2 here, which means that if I wanted to add something to that, it's a bit small, this image, it's not normally coming through that small, and this will also work on your tablet or mobile. I could add a balloon. Okay, so I've now added a balloon, and I'm going to click here and submit those. So that has now been submitted to my agency. They will now get an email, and they will be notified, and obviously now they've got to retouch and put the balloon in. Once they add the new proof with the balloon in the image, then that will become version 3, and I will no longer be able to work on that. So this is about version control of your proofs. So it's about making sure that everybody who's working on the job, and I control that here, are working. All the right people are being notified about that. So not only are they getting an email, they're also getting a notification up in their notifications. And you'll also notice here that this is where I can control my pricing. So not only can this carry purchase order numbers and obviously all the details of your campaign, this is where we start to use it as a procurement tool. So yes, I can send an open-ended brief to my agency and get a price and then put it in the system, but I can also set up a price matrix. So we've got a number of clients who've got hundreds of jobs that are all sat with an SLA for time and also a fixed price, which means that they can manage all their procurement. So their account managers are not going to their agencies for costs all the time. They're not having their legs lifted in relation to how much they're paying. It means that either you as a marketing team or you as procurement can set up a price agreement with your multiple agencies, and then this system means that they've got to stick with it. Okay? So that's a quick synopsis of a job. It's about the brief, it's about dynamic briefing, it's about making briefing easy and more visual and being able to add images from your lightbox. So for example, if I want to create a new job, I literally go job type, so I'm going to go, I need an email. I'm going to order it from Logical Agency because they're cheaper than the other people, albeit here it's 499 quid. So you be the decision whether you think that's cheap or not. I can have multiple territories, so I can have all my territories set up. So this is for the UK, and it's for my Autumn 17 campaign, and it's test job, and it's required for the 31st. Okay, and it's going to carry purchase order number 1234, and simply as that, I'm going to create a job. Now it knows that this is an email, so again, all the questions in here are specific to what I've decided I want for this type of job. So I can type in here, this is an email for the new campaign, add some clothes and sell them. Okay, so not a great brief. And I'm going to go into my lightbox and choose, because we're going to, obviously again, these are all made up, so I'm going to add the Stella McCartney skirt there into the product because this is the one I want to do. Now, what that's doing is not only am I making it absolutely easy peasy specific for my agency to know that that is the product I want in it, it's also putting the I can put the high-res file straight in the brief. So what that means is when my agency is working on the job, they go in straight and get the asset. There's no looking round and wasting time. So this again allows you to drive down the cost of your production with your agency. So it's as simple as that. Once I've finished the brief, or I could choose something from my thing, or I can even add a web link, etc. I then click this job for acceptance, and that has now been sent off to that particular agency, to the Logical Agency, awaiting them to confirm receipt of that job and receipt of the brief. Okay, that's got my price in it, it's got my date in it. Okay, so very, very simply, that is how I work with my agencies and add a job. It's all dynamic, it's all driven around the types of agencies that I work with and the types of jobs that I'm creating. Again, it's about driving down cost. Now, what that allows me to do is I can then, once I'm starting to store my assets, so this is my digital asset management system, I can view anything I want, and it's all specifically driven around me. So this is set up for a fashion retailer. I've got campaigns, I've got my different territories, I can have all my creative in different languages, I've got product groups, product types, video types, catwalk, corporate PR, I've got image size, low res, thumbnails. I can have this set to whatever I want. But to just go back to what I was about to say was, if I've got a specific job, so this is a spring demo email, okay, I can click on it and see the thumbnail of that particular email, so it's an HTML5 email. If you notice here, I can also have the toolbox. So not only have I got the final asset stored here, I've also got the toolbox files that made that email. So I've got my PSDs and I've got my HTML. So what I'm doing is, once my agency's finished this, I get them to upload the final toolboxes into here, and I'm storing this, which means, as I said, not only are you protecting your IP, you're also making it that you are protecting the money that you're spending. So if I then want to go and use another agency, I can literally set them up in seconds, and that agency can be getting access to my toolbox files. None of this sending out hard drives and having stuff archived and making sure you get it back. This is your system, and your agencies work with you in your system. You dictate how they work with you, not the other way around. Okay. So what else can I do? I can also then go, right, I've had this bought. I've had this created. It cost me 499 quid. I actually want a version of this in French. So I'm going to have an email version from Logical again for 99 quid, and I'm going to order that. And what that now does is then brings up the briefing process for 99 quid. Tells me that the earliest delivery is the 12th of October, which is tomorrow, and that again is defined in the back end. So that agency said I can have this email done in French for tomorrow. Once I finish that brief, I can then create that job, and then it will bring up the brief that basically asks me about my translation. So again, I'm ordering a reversion of that email that costs 500 quid. I only want some translation done, and the system knows that if I want that doing, I can order it from this agency for 99 quid, and it tells me when I'm going to get it. Once that agency's approved it, again, they'll upload it into the system, and I can proof it through the proofing system and with the version control, etc. So, or I can download it here and automatically have access. So this system is about giving you, the client, the brand, the power and managing your supply chain, reducing costs and protecting not only the way that you brief and manage your agencies, but protecting the cost and protecting the final assets and the intellectual property that you're paying to have produced on your behalf. That's what this system does. It's very, very powerful, but very simple. And we design it and bespoke it to the way you work, not only your business model, but also the way you work with your supply chain. Okay? So finally on here, I mean, I'm not going to go into the admin button. That manages my homepage promotions, i.e. which assets do I want to share with my multiple officers. I can manage my users in here. I can manage all my back end in there. Okay, but I'm not going to bore you to death in this video. Finally is the editor. Okay, so what the editor allows you to do is to, again, it's about saving cost. Okay, this whole system is about paying for itself multiple times over every month and giving you the security of all the other features and benefits I've already said. Okay, so what we've built in here is the ability to, very simply for your internal team, to manage and change digital content on the fly. Okay, so this is a 300 by 600 banner. It's a static GIF. It was created here, and basically it's a 50% off offer, and I'm the marketing manager, and I've suddenly said, right, okay, I need to get rid of this stuff, so I want to change it to 75, and I need to change the URL to final offers. I'm going to press save, and there you go. Okay, that needs a bit of jiggery pokery, which I can do here. So that there, I can actually change the X and the Y's of that bit of content there. But again, I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video. But you can see there, 75% off. I've done that, and all I need to do is press that and download that, and I've got a piece of HTML5. I've got the image, so I can change text, and I can change the text within images as well. So it's as simple as that. You do what I will say is, with the editor, it's not about being able to edit every single item, because you do have to build it takes about 10 minutes to build a template, but you wouldn't build a template for every single asset, fundamentally because you might as well go in and change the key file. What it's about doing is if you've got a campaign, so you've got a lot of assets that are going to last you a couple of weeks, and you've got 30 or 40 different versions, and you're going to have to change the call to action in week 1 and week 2 and week 3. Set it up as a template, and you can do all the editing yourself. What does that do? A, it makes it quicker. B, it gives you more flexibility. C, it's not costing you a dime. Okay, so you're no longer paying your agency 50 quid to go in and change 2 things on a GIF. You're doing it yourself. and again, put it straight into your asset management system. So I'm hoping that's covered everything. Content247 is a platform for brands to centralise their whole multi-channel production across all their agencies and supply chain. But fundamentally, it's about sharing content across all your offices or your territories and across all your stakeholders, and then making it easy to work with those agencies by creating better briefing, more accurate briefing, more dynamic visual briefing, honing down cost, and then making the return of those things very easy through my proofing, my stakeholder collaboration, and then making sure that everything is put into my DAM, and then making sure that everyone can see the stuff within the DAM, and then making it easy to reversion content for less money. I hope that's got it across. I'm sorry it's taken so long. There's more I could tell you, but I'm losing my voice. So I hope you found that interesting, and thank you very much for watching the fly-through on Content247. My name's Nick Aldrich, and we're Pixel Barbecue. Thanks a lot.